The 80/20 Principle by Richard Koch. What if you could achieve 80% of your results by doing only 20% of the work? This is the bold and life-changing promise behind the 80/20 Principle, a modern classic by Richard Koch that reveals how a small number of efforts, inputs, or decisions often lead to the majority of your desired outcomes. Originally observed by Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto in the late 19th century, who noted that 80% of Italy's land was owned by 20% of its population, this principle applies to nearly every area of life: business, health, relationships, time, productivity, and personal happiness. Richard Koch expands on Pareto's work to demonstrate a universal truth. A small portion of causes, inputs, or effort tends to lead to the vast majority of results, outputs, or rewards. Part 1. Understanding the 80/20 Principle. The first key insight Koch presents is that the 80/20 rule is not just a rule of thumb, it's a law of imbalance. In nearly every domain, 20% of customers generate 80% of profits. 20% of products create 80% of revenue. 20% of your tasks deliver 80% of your productivity. Even in your personal life, 20% of your habits contribute to 80% of your well-being. Koch encourages us to see the world through a new lens, one where we stop treating all tasks, relationships, and goals as equal. They aren't. Some matter far more than others. Part 2. Applying the principle to business and work. One of the most powerful uses of the 80/20 Principle is in the workplace. Koch argues that companies often waste time and money trying to do everything well. Instead, they should identify and double down on the 20% of products, customers, or strategies that generate the majority of results. He offers examples. Most profits come from a small fraction of clients. Most complaints come from a few problematic processes. Most innovation and growth are driven by a handful of people or ideas. Smart businesses use the 80/20 Principle to focus their energy, eliminate waste, and create lean, powerful systems that deliver disproportionate value. Part 3. Time, productivity, and personal effectiveness. In your personal productivity, the 80/20 Principle is liberating. We're often taught to work harder, longer, and faster, but Koch flips this entirely. Instead of doing more, he says, do less, but better. Start by identifying what 20% of tasks deliver 80% of your results. Which 20% of meetings or activities bring the most return? What small amount of planning saves hours of execution? By focusing only on high-value tasks and letting go of trivial ones, you can reduce stress, free up time, and still achieve extraordinary outcomes. The goal isn't to be busy, the goal is to be strategic. Part 4. Wealth, money, and investing. When it comes to money, the 80/20 Principle helps you invest and grow wealth more intelligently. Koch reveals that wealth, like productivity, follows a power law. A small number of investments usually generate the majority of returns. A few smart financial decisions can outperform years of scattered efforts. Most people get wealthy by focusing on one or two income-generating activities, not by juggling dozens. He encourages readers to identify their personal gold mines areas where they have unique knowledge, skills, or leverage, and invest time and energy there. Part 5. Decision-making and problem-solving. Not all problems are created equal. Koch urges readers to identify vital few problems that cause the majority of headaches or inefficiencies, whether in life or business. Solve those, and you'll create exponential results. This is where the principle becomes a thinking tool, a way to cut through complexity, prioritize more effectively, avoid being overwhelmed by trivial tasks. Great decision-makers don't treat all data as equal. They look for leverage points. places where small changes create big improvements. Part 6. Relationships, Happiness, and Life Satisfaction. Interestingly, the 80/20 principle also applies beautifully to your emotional life. Koch suggests reflecting on which 20% of people in your life bring 80% of your joy, which 20% of activities contribute to most of your well-being, which 20% of decisions have shaped your life the most. By becoming aware of what truly moves the needle in your happiness, you can spend more time on what matters and let go of draining habits, people, and commitments. Living well means designing your days around your vital few joys, not just managing your many obligations. Part 7. Rethinking Success. The 80/20 principle is not just about working smarter. It's about living intentionally. Success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right few things extremely well. Richard Koch reminds us, success is not a matter of doing more things right, but of doing more of the right things. By focusing on what truly counts and eliminating the rest, we can create more time, wealth, peace, and purpose with less effort. Final thoughts. Living the 80/20 way. The 80/20 principle isn't just a productivity hack, it's a philosophy. It invites us to question the assumption that effort and reward are always equal. They aren't. A small amount of what we do, own, think, and choose has a massive impact. Koch encourages us to constantly ask, what's working best and how can I do more of it? What's not working and how can I do less of it? Where is the leverage in this situation? By consistently focusing on the few things that yield the biggest results, we can achieve greater success and satisfaction with far less stress. The secret is not to do more, the secret is to do less and win bigger.